1, 2, 3, 4.
Good morning, my brothers and sisters. On this, the 9th episode of 2021 for the Good Morning Guys podcast, a 130, aka our Sphenic episode, and also our Defying Jehoiada episode. Thank you so much for joining us on this fine morning, afternoon, evening, or night as we continue discussing the game of life amidst the other games we love to watch and to play. I'm one of your four hosts, the Brazingo Grass Bender and Transition Avatar, Lucas Ham Swisher. Also, someone who was here too, the judge, jury, and executioner of Irish anime voice, oh no, Patrick Novacell.
Oh, my shillelagh.
On his left and my right, the most grounded guy I know who wishes he could take Steven Seagal to the woodshed in 3 moves or less, Ronnie Johantis.
Hi.
Hi. And then the final member of the GMG Quadfecta, who for the month of March has Nintendo in his heart, finding that Master Sword on his brain and Korok seeds in his old stomacho, and may or may not go Welsh on you if you mess with him, Marc Boucher.
Except we're not looking for Korok seeds in the game that you're referring to, but it's all good.
Whoa, easy. Don't go Welsh on me. I'm sorry I misspoke. I'll not do that ever again. We can do the take again if you want. I don't want you to hurt me.
You better recognize.
I do. Woo. All right, that was a close one. I thought I was going to get taken out. Well, before my life gets taken, I am just going to jump right into what's new news. Sound good?
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
All right, fantastic. Fellas, so this past week, the wheel keeps on spinning. And by the wheel, I mean the family activity wheel. As I had told you guys before, I am still using that good old app I found, spinning the wheel of mayhem every other day. And it's really been a great way to just do a variety of family activities, as I've mentioned before. We finished simultaneously, almost, maybe within 10 minutes of each other, 2 500-piece Star Wars puzzles. James's Rise of Skywalker puzzle, and my new Grogu and Mandu Grogu
Never heard of that
and
character
Mando. Yeah. Grogu and Mando puzzle, where Mandalorian is holding the child like he's going to burp him. Isn't that cute?
Aw.
That's so special.
For you viewers out there, I'm showing it, and all I can describe it is the way I already said, so maybe it'll go up on Discord sometime.
It sure will.
Yeah, that's right. Also, besides that, we played some old school SNES or SNES games, depending on how you like to say that.
Nice.
That I know Mark and Patrick would love. Super Mario Kart, baby. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your favorite, which does have a power slide. Thank you very much. I used it to get first place over and over again. And actually, thankfully, we played kind of together as a team. We both picked one character each, and then whoever lost, they had to switch the controller over. And it worked out to where Mario got second place and Toad got third place. Toad easily being the best character to drive as for you experienced players out there. But Donkey Kong, the computer, he got first, so that was kind of sad. And then from there, we went to the next best game. What's that?
Did you cry?
Did I cry?
Yeah, you said it was sad.
Let me get to the crying. No.
Oh, no.
There's plenty of time for that, apparently.
Yeah, the crying didn't happen in Super Mario Kart. It happened in your guys' other favorite Super Nintendo game, Kirby's Dream Course. That old chestnut.
Is that the golf game?
That's the golf game. Where Kirby is the golf ball.
I'm so glad I didn't play that one.
So, as I've said in the past, I think Mindy and I played that when it was just the two of us on my old Super Nintendo. I used to have the cartridge and everything, and it was good fun held by both of us. However, enter our children, and it got a little rough at times. We played boys versus girls. I thought, I'm pretty good, and so if I have James with me, even if he struggles, I'll kind of like make up for the slack. That didn't happen.
Ooh.
Not only was Mindy her usual like on itself, like she was a little rusty at first, but then she quickly remembered the controls and how to do everything. And Tasha, man, she caught on really fast to the game. James, on the other hand, my partner, He did not. He did not get the idea of you click once to get the power gauge to move, but then you have to click again where the power gauge is so that you can make it move. And he would click it, and he would just let it go up, let it go down, and Kirby would go nowhere. And the very first time he did it, he started to cry. And I'm like, this is not good. This is not going to end well.
Nope.
Well, he
So the girls took you guys to the woodshed.
Yes, the girls definitely took us to the woodshed. Like, James made it probably halfway through the 8 holes, I think. Either 9 holes. That, I don't know. You can't do halfway of 9, but halfway, more or less halfway, James eventually ran to his room crying because he did that whiffing thing like 2 or 3 times. And then it was just me, and I'm like, okay, serious time to catch up. I never caught up. Those girls destroyed me. Even at the end, I tried to do this little trick where you run over it's like a sensor pad that will switch all the stars to yours, and I screwed it up, and they beat me fair and square. It was pretty impressive. Not only to see, of course, Mindy doesn't really play video games at all. She plays trivia games, Jackbox games. This is the only like sport game that she plays, and she's pretty good at it. But Natasha, I got to give a shout out to her this week because she was like super nerd. Not only at playing Kirby's Dream Course, but she was a huge nerd in gaming the past few weeks. So she has completely abandoned Minecraft, which is a huge shock. Because I mean,
and a sign of growth.
It is. She's finally growing beyond it, but it's really surprised me. And well, and it's spilled over even into like our other games we play together. Like, she's not playing Lego Harry Potter with me. You know, I'm in the search of the platinum, and I wanted the kids to play with me, and they're like, "Nah, Dad, we'd rather do our own thing." And now she's exclusively playing a very well-known game called Furry Paws. Come on, you've heard of it, right?
Well, she's following in your footsteps.
Cheap platinum game?
No, it's not a cheap platinum game. It's actually PC Master Race.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's actually even worse. It's a browser game.
Ooh, okay.
Dang.
So this Furry Paws game has no exploration. There's actually no like active screen. It's a pure stat-based creature simulator on PC. She has pictures of dogs and cats, dragons, like all kinds of creatures, and she takes care of them. She feeds them. She's built this very simple map with a property, like where she keeps the animals and cares for them, like a digital zoo. It is so nerdy. And she has one little friend that she plays with from school, and they talk back and forth. They trade animals, and that's all she does. Like, she just sits in front of the computer, measuring stats, creating new animals, naming them, and all that stuff. So,
what are the stats for? Do they fight each other?
The stats are for nothing. It's like
There's
height, weight.
There's no way to win. You mean?
Yeah, no, there's no use to it. It's just the stats of the dog. Like, the dog is, 3 feet tall or something and weighs 50 pounds and likes chicken. I don't know. I don't remember like all the stats, but yeah, they just have a bunch of stats, and that's the game.
I feel like she'll learn eventually that video games got way better than that.
Yeah, I hope she does. She's gone from Minecraft to I don't know what. It's very nerdy though. It's like it's something else. The other nerdy thing that she did this past week that I need to shout out to is something that I don't even understand how she did it. But she came up to me one night and she said, "Dad, I want you to look at this." And it was one of their Lego sets that is the door of, I think it's what is that called? The escape pod that C-3PO and R2-D2 escape to on Tatooine,
Yeah.
And inside the door, what's that? Oh yeah, they have a Lego set for that. It's really cool. But on the inside of the door, it has like a hologram with a map showing the trajectory of the escape pod, and then it has like Star Wars alien letters. And she's like, "Dad, I translated that." And I'm like, What? What do you mean you translated it? She's like, "Yeah, you remember when you played Battlefield 2 last year?" I'm like, "Yeah."
You mean Battlefront
She's like,
2?
"Well, I was looking at this, and I remembered in a cutscene, or I remembered one of the videos, I saw these letters, and it spelled out a word, and so I started connecting the letters, and it spells out Destination Tatooine." And I'm like, what? And she's like, and I also spelled my name in Star Wars letters.
No way.
Yeah.
You know what
And
she
even
should-
tonight, watching Resistance, she was like, hey, that's the letter A over there. It was like on the wall. Like, she knows the alphabet in Star Wars.
She not only knows English, she knows Portuguese and now Star Wars or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess that's a language.
You know what she
I
should
guess. I
spell
don't
out?
know.
You know what she should spell out next? Nerd.
She probably
Yes.
could.
Which is
I'll have to ask her about
totally
that.
fine.
That is
I mean, yeah,
100%
that's
fine.
That's totally normal. Totally normal. So yeah, I was very impressed. I said I was very proud of her. I called her a big nerd, and she's like, "Is that bad?" I'm like,
She needs to put that on
"No."
her resume.
I know, right? Strengths, Star Wars language. We don't
Hired.
know what the language is called, but it's Star Wars
If
language.
someone had Star Wars on their resume, I'd be like, I gotta talk to this guy.
Yeah, no doubt. You're a little young to work for me, but you're gonna work here.
You'll do just fine.
Yeah. Also, along the lines of Tasha, as we've been doing for the past year and a half, she gets to watch a new TV show every so often. And we have tried and failed 2 TV shows over this past week. The first of which I don't think any of you have any business watching. Maybe Patrick, maybe, to watch it with Claire. It's called Diary of a Future President. It's on Disney Plus. And
Nope, have not seen it yet.
we made it like 4 or 5 episodes in. It's the middle school journey of our future first female president in some alternate universe. And so you're following her childhood with her Hispanic family. It's really funny because they say like words in Spanish, and there was stuff that Mindy understood and even I understood that was just funny, but a normal person wouldn't understand. But it's actually quite humorous, and it has very genuine like storylines and conversations. But within the first episode, everything from periods to tampons to going to second base, practicing going to second base, using a pillow and mom's bra, like
What?
all this stuff happens, and we're just like, I don't know that we should be watching this with our daughter. At one point, this is the last episode we watched. The teenage boys went to a party, and they definitely did the old classic, 7 Minutes in Heaven, where 2 kids went into a room, a boy and a girl went into
And
a
this
room.
is on Disney Plus?
This is
What
on
is
Disney
happening?
Plus.
Is this an actual kid show?
It said 10 years old on the Common Sense Media, the thing we looked up.
Okay.
And I should have looked at more details. I was like, what is
No.
happening? So yeah, we just couldn't do it. We made it probably further than Mindy was comfortable. I was laughing my head off. Like, there were times they said stuff and did stuff, and I was the only one laughing. It was something else.
Were you laughing just because of how dumb it was?
I mean, it was a
Or how
mixture of
ridiculous?
laughing how dumb it was, and I was actually surprised how funny some parts was, and then I was just nervous. I was like, "What's Tasha gonna think about this? Like, is she
You were
gonna say
just
anything?"
side-eyeing her like, are you
Yeah,
seeing what I'm seeing?
it's like, if I don't make a big deal about this, you won't make a big deal about it, right? But she's so like innocent, naive still. Like, she's almost 11, but she is not like super experienced. She doesn't go to American school. The school that she goes to is a bunch of missionary kids, and there are richer kids that go to her school, but one, they don't really see each other that much, and 2, I've heard a lot of their conversations, and they're not really that mature and in depth.
They're chatting about furry paws or whatever.
Exactly. That furry pause is the highlight of life. So, yeah, it was something, and it definitely. It's definitely something we'll go back to eventually. Not right now. Not the right time. So its rating is pending. The other show we abandoned after 1 episode, Girl Meets World.
Oh, yeah. I tried to watch it because I was like, Boy Meets World. It's like the sequel. He's the dad and Topanga's the mom. Let's give it a try. Nope.
Ronnie, did
do
you
it.
watch Boy Meets World back in the day?
I did not.
No. You didn't miss out on much,
It's
really.
not my thing.
I mean, it
What?
was
You
okay.
can't say that.
I think so. Girl Meets World just ruined it for me. I've lost all respect for what's his name? Fred Savage's brother.
Ben Savage?
Ben Savage. Yeah, it is a
Frank
Savage.
Savage.
Frank Savage. That's the
Macho
cousin.
man.
Macho Man Randy Savage.
I believe Randy.
Yeah, Randy. Randy's the uncle you don't really want to come to the party. Yeah, so we watched that. That was awful. That was just plain awful. I really did actually like Boy Meets World growing up, and but Girl Meets World, forced jokes, painfully bizarre storylines just in the first episode, and I didn't think there was any chemistry with anybody. So I give it.
The show was canceled, right?
It had to have been. I canceled it real quick. I was like, how do I delete this off of Disney Plus? I don't want to watch this.
Where's that option?
Yeah. So no rating, TLDW. Too long, did not watch. All right. On to the better stuff, the more exciting things. Gaming. Time for GMG Triple P with me, Pastor Hammy. That's what I meant to do. Sorry.
Master
I got
Pastor.
one. Yeah. Master Pastor. I got one plat this week and failed to get another platinum this week. So the first platinum I got was Life is Strange 2, which I think, Patrick, you played the first episode of that, right?
Yes, I was planning on doing it, and then just other games came up and just fell off.
Wrestling probably happened.
Yeah,
Early
a lot
segue.
of things got pushed aside because of wrestling.
Yeah. So for those that have played the Life is Strange series, overall, this is the third game. It was actually my personal favorite of the series. For those who don't know, it's a choose-your-own-adventure and a road trip with two brothers who are trying to make their way to Mexico. And, along the way, there's some supernatural stuff that happens, which happens in all Life is Strange games. There's definitely some tragedy. There are definitely some run-ins with the police. It's quite the ride. It's laid back at times. In fact, there were some times where I was checking Twitter and doing other stuff because it was kind of like Patrick with the Wrestlemania with WWE 2K20, where the cutscene sometimes lasted a little long. Just like there would be this interlude of music that was really relaxing, and then it would just last for like 5 minutes, and I'm like, all right,
and that's like it's like a Telltale style game, right?
Yeah, it is. It's you're pretty much the choose your own adventure part is what to say. You make choices like, do I punch him in the face or do I give him a hug? Like, what do you want to do? I don't know that I got that option, but
decisions.
Yeah, they're often very drastic decisions. But it was really good. I really liked the whole relationship between the brothers. I don't have a blood brother. I have lots of brothers in Christ. I have friends that I consider brothers, but I've never had like a younger or an older blood brother. So it was kind of cool to experience that dynamic. It was interesting. It was very heartfelt. I will say the language was a little foul. It kind of reminded me of Goonies sometimes, where like little kids dropping the F-bomb is sometimes funny, but then sometimes it's like, okay, we've used this a little too much.
Right.
And so that got a little old. But overall, it was a good experience. And let me tell you guys, at the end, spoiler-free, I just want to say that it does choices and an ending better than Mass Effect did. Sorry, Patrick. You had a choice of like 2 or 3 options, and then once you made that choice, depending on all your other choices from the rest of the game, it branched off into like 2 other choices. So you had up to like 6 or 7 possible endings, which was pretty cool. I made all the choices that I made, and a lot of it was based on like how you treated your brother or what you taught him. He followed your example a lot of times. So like when you make the choice at the end, if it's like against how you taught him, then he'll take matters into his own hands, and it's really fascinating. I liked my ending. I thought it was very fitting. I watched some of the other endings, and they got really dark, and I was glad my playthrough didn't go that direction. But overall, I was satisfied. And other than, having to wear the proverbial earmuffs from time to time, I liked it. And I give it a 9 out of 10 earmuffs.
Oh,
sweet deal.
Yeah. Yep. It was good. The game I almost platinumed was Alien Nation. And for those who have forgotten, it's an isometric top-down RPG shooter that I've played almost 100% of with Chris the Canadian Rock. And
nice.
It was really fun. Yeah, it's good times. We played nice and early, usually between like 5 and 7 o'clock in the morning. It was like 4 o'clock in the morning for him a lot of times. He is like hardcore waking up early. I don't know how he does it.
What does isometric mean?
Isometric
I'm gonna start asking these questions, by the way, because when you guys are talking about video games, like 9 times out of 10, I don't know what any of those letters mean.
It is just like the camera angle from Diablo 3.
Yes.
That's the camera angle.
Fair enough.
Sorry, I should have said that. It has a Diablo 3 view, which I really like that viewpoint, partly because it makes me feel like I'm a kid again, like I'm playing with action figures, moving them around, and it's kind of nostalgic for me. I'd say only behind like platformers and games like that, the isometric view or the Diablo kind of top-down look is really enjoyable. But yeah, so it was a lot of fun. It was a bit of a long platinum. Well, I still don't have it yet, but to get the platinum, it takes like 50 or 60 hours. So you really got to put some time into it. But Chris and I just kept plugging away every week, little by little. Appropriately, the last leg of the journey was us spending multiple hours grinding for XP in a mission set none other than Brazil over and over.
Look at that.
And over again. It was very appropriate. On Saturday, we were supposed to get the platinum, and we had one more level to get to then finish the missions, and the PlayStation Network would not let us join the same game. It was very frustrating.
Oh, jeez.
Isn't that the worst when like your game is down, like you're getting ready to get in there and play, like you're already set on it, and you shut down.
Yeah, it's
That's
very disheartening. Yep, it was a huge bummer, but we just we played kind of parallel to each other to fully level up our characters, and then pretty much after that just played Rocket League. So for some reason Rocket League let us connect, but Alien Nation would not let us connect. So that was a bit of a bummer. But in all of that, Chris kind of said, why don't we wait to get the Alien Nation Platinum and you get some other Platinums and hold it off for the Extra Life stream later on in the month? And I'm like, you know what? That's what we're going to do.
It's a good idea.
So, yeah, I thought that was a great idea. So I'm going to save that. Lego Harry Potter, We Were Here Too with Patrick, God of War, and that's going to be a part of the March 19th and 20th Extra Life stream from 9 p.m. to 9 p.m. Be there or be square. The last thing I want to mention, partly because it segues to the next person to give their update, is I've hit a second wave of addiction and dedication to Rocket League. I've now realized that it is officially in 2021 probably going to be my apex, and I'm not ashamed. Not ashamed to say it. I know Dead Cells last year was my apex, but this one is a little more fitting since it's multiplayer. Been playing with Chris on Saturdays and twice a week, and just really enjoying it. Started getting to competitive, and I think I like it better than casual almost. It gives you that extra carrot to kind of like improve your division, improve your silver, gold, platinum, whatever. I'm definitely silver. I'm definitely not gold or platinum, but I'm hoping to get there. I mean, I've even gotten so far now as to get into competitive 1v1, which is very difficult, to say the least. One false move, and they are just destroying you. It hurts real bad. And so
1v1 sounds rough. I think I've probably played it like messing around, but that sounds terrible. I miss a lot.
Yeah. You really learn to rely on your teammates to kind of back you up.
You do.
You back them up. And when you have that mindset, when it's 1v1, it's like, wait a second. Oh, no.
The bumpers are gone.
I had a number of chase down blocks or saves, even though I lost, that even the guy I was playing was like, wow, what a save. Like he was doing the little hot buttons. And that was cool. It was a nice first opponent to play, even though he beat me like 6-4, 7-4. It was a good first experience, and I think it'll help me get better. And in addition to getting competitive, I also bought the season pass or the premium pack, whatever you want to call it, because I really wanted to just show Psionics a little love. They really deserve it. I've put over 100 hours into this game and probably will put another 100 hours into it. So in the very least, I thought I could get this season pack. I got a bunch of cool gear and paint jobs, and got a fun little disco goal explosion, which
those are cool.
It's pretty cool. So I'm still covet very much, Ronnie, your Jurassic Park rocket.
I know you can't get it anymore.
Goal explosion. I know you can't get it, and I'm just like, man, can I borrow that? That thing is.
It makes me sad. It makes me sad. Like I miss. Like I think I had it when I had it on Xbox. I can't remember. I had the Batmobile.
Didn't you?
What's that?
Yeah, you had the Batmobile.
Yeah, I had the Batmobile.
Old school
and
one.
I think I had the DeLorean too, and now I can't get it.
Yeah, that's a bummer. Yeah. Especially the Batmobile. I don't even think I've seen that in real
Lucas,
life.
I actually bought the F-150.
Oh, did you? Nice.
I did. I bought that pack.
It looked
I was
like
ashamed,
cool
really, because I told myself when I started playing Rocket League again, I'm like, all right, I'm not spending $1 this time.
Apparently, you've been
and I was
down
like,
this path before.
Man, but they got a truck now. I got to get that.
Yeah. It is funny how it's like, it's really just digital, like, I don't know, decorations, and it's nothing that really helps you do anything. It's just cool.
It's the one thing there is one thing that I don't like about Rocket League, and is that it is a money-grabbing game.
Yeah.
Like, you could spend just a fortune in Rocket League, like.
Well, they have to. They have to be like that since it's technically free to play. They've got to earn their...
Yeah.
I guess, but I will tell you that this free-to-play game probably makes more money than like a single purchase upfront game.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know what I mean? Like
they definitely do.
Yeah. Yep. They must like make a killing.
Yeah.
Because it's like for the pack, like for the F-150, it was like either 15,000 or no. Was it 1,500?
Yeah, I think it was 15
credits.
Yeah.
Which is just $15, and it's like that's like an expansion you would buy on another game, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at least you look cool, and you'll have that.
I don't even use it now.
Yeah, you got to use it all the time now. Like
every card's different. Like you got to like work with the one you like.
Yep, that's for sure. I mean, as soon as I bought the season pack, I like kitted all the cards I could with the stuff I got. I was like, I got to use this, so here we go.
Yeah.
It's just find a way to color coordinate everything. But yeah, speaking of Ronnie and his, color coordinating. No, that has nothing to do with color coordinating. I definitely want to play some Rocket League with you, so we gotta hang out and get to it.
We're in on that.
Yeah, man. So with that, Ronnie, I've shared plenty. Right. Now it's your turn. What has been going on?
In the standard outside world, out of gaming, we didn't really do anything this week. We had a nice date night, which was us at home. Like cooked dinner, had a nice dinner and everything. Mm-hmm. It's always nice. Like I prefer that to going out to like a nice restaurant, or something like that. So we did that, and then on the gaming front, I stopped playing Grounded.
Oh no!
Abruptly, really.
That's a bummer. Like
there's when you have that like itch to play a game, and you think about it during the day or whatever. Like, all right, when I get home, I'm gonna play. I got on after one of those days, and Eric and I were kind of walking around. He's like, all right, what do you want to do? And it's like, I kind of just want to play Rocket League. I don't want to play this anymore. And it's over. And it's over just like that. I don't even want to play it. It was fun. It was fun for, we put a bunch of hours into it, but now it's kind of like, I don't want to go run from spiders.
Makes me think of, was it Toy Story? Where he it was like a nightmare kind of thing, where I think it was Andy, and he's like, I don't want to play with you anymore, and he drops him.
Yeah, and he throws him on the bed.
Exactly.
Or in the toy box. Yeah.
So I stopped playing that. I started playing another game, but I'll spoil that it was Diablo 3, but I'll let Pat talk about it, since it was his first experience in a Diablo game.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Patrick's playing Diablo 3?
Well, so this weekend was every weekend there's like an Xbox free play days, and it's like usually 1 or 2 games that you can play for free over the weekend. And this weekend was like SpongeBob, kart racing, and then Diablo 3. So
what do these all have in common?
I took a screenshot of it, and I sent a text to Ronnie and Eric, and I was like, you guys want to play? And then Eric's like, which one? I was like,
SpongeBob, of course.
Yeah. So, so we played some Diablo 3 this past weekend, and we played, for 2 or 3, 4 hours, something like that?
Yeah.
And got through Act 1, and that was awesome. It was the adult version of Minecraft Dungeons.
Yeah.
And that's just an easy way to explain it. And
Yep.
I was
Yeah.
having a blast.
Nice.
Yeah, it is really fun.
Enough to where it was on sale for $20, and I bought it.
Nice.
Good
Now wait,
stuff.
this is on Xbox, right?
I saw it on $20 for PlayStation, so I got it there too.
Yes.
That's how much fun I was having with
There
this
we
game.
go.
It's really fun, and actually, it honestly is a game that like I mean, I guess it is a little gory, but like Clark probably
is.
would do okay at it.
Yeah.
I think he would. I think
he
he'd
would
be all
probably
right
do
if
okay.
he
I
knows
mean-
how to play it with Minecraft Dungeons. I think
Yeah,
he
it's
would
the
pick it up
same
real
thing,
quick.
really. Just
Mark,
in,
you're doing God's work. You're going to kill the
I
devil.
mean, you are going to kill the
I
devil.
mean, there's no way around it.
We haven't got
Still
there
not
yet,
fun
but
to me.
like, Pat, did you watch like the cutscenes and stuff? Like, it was
No, I'm gonna have to rewatch it because we were just like we were skipping cutscenes
we were
and just
flying.
like as soon as
Say it
we
only
got to
took you a
talk-
few hours to get through Act 1.
Yeah,
well, because
we're through Act
we
one.
were skipping everything, and they're like,
That's 'cause Elizabeth
Eric's
wasn't with
Eric's
you.
like, do you want to read this? And I was like, no, let's just play the game because I only have a little bit.
Yeah,
So I'll need to go back and
Nice.
get some of the story from Act
the
1.
cutscenes are cool, and that I mean, like they
Yeah,
are legitimately
they're
cool.
really well done.
Yeah,
Patrick,
they are.
Chris and I have you covered on the PlayStation side because that's actually the next game we want to play.
No way.
Yeah.
Nice. Fantastic.
It's legit. That'll be a good time to try out like new characters because I guess with the free one they didn't give you like you couldn't get like the Necromancer, which like you'll like him. Like the Necromancer is really fun in that game. You can have like 9 skeletons like at times and like it's ridiculous.
Nice.
Do they explode your enemies when you raise the skeletons like they did in Diablo 2? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I think I think it's a certain skill that you can set like
Yeah.
like you have the skill to raise the skeletons and then you have like the little sub like attachments almost, and I think
Yeah.
probably it's one of them.
That was my favorite thing to do is when my friends, like when I play in college with friends in Diablo 2, they would kill like just a few characters and then I would start exploding corpses and it would take down the entire
Yeah.
army going against us.
Yeah,
It was
it
crazy.
gets ridiculous.
Crazy strong.
But yeah, so it's always fun. Like Diablo 3, it basically took another person like to get me in. Like Eric's been like dying to get me to play it, like just with him. And I
Yeah.
played with like Elizabeth for a long time, and it was like,
You're right.
you know, like if we get a group together, maybe.
Yeah.
So we ended up doing that for a few hours. It's such a fun game, honestly.
Yeah.
It really is. I wanted to play some today, but like Pat couldn't play, and it's like I don't want to like go ahead or anything like that, you know. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Like for me on the gaming front, and for the week, I did not have a lot going on this week. Mark, what about you?
This week has been interesting, I guess. So this past Saturday, I'm gonna kind of go back and forth, I guess, between gaming and the real life.
Why not?
And
Let's see if we can guess which is which. Real life or gaming?
Here we go. So this past Saturday night, let's see. Yeah, this past Saturday night, I decided to, instead of playing Cyber Shadow like I had originally planned, I decided to instead celebrate Pokemon's 25th anniversary, which was on Saturday. It was also Pokemon Day, which they celebrate every year, but
Happy birthday, Pikachu.
this was special in particular because it was Pokemon's 25th anniversary. The red and
Nice.
green versions of Pokemon were released in Japan in 1996. Came a year later as Red and Blue in the U.S. But I decided to celebrate with by playing some Pokemon on stream. So
There you go.
big thanks to my coworker Zach. I was able to borrow his Switch, and we played some Pokemon Sword on stream, which is as of right now, the latest Pokemon game to be released on the Switch.
Very cool. How's
So
that?
I think I'm gonna stick to OG Pokemon, just
Oh,
because
yeah?
there's
don't like the
entirely
new
too
stuff?
much going on in that game.
Uh-oh.
Like there's a lot of new stuff. First of all, I forgot how much talking is in that game. how many dialogue boxes you have to go through, and I'm like, come on, I just want to catch Pokemon in battle, please. And he said, no, of course, you got to start out, you got to select what kind of character you want to be, and then you meet your rival, and then you're going back and forth to all these different houses and meeting different people, and then finally one of the characters allows you to select from one of 3 Pokemon, starter Pokemon, and you get to pick that, and then of course you have to fight your friend who is technically your rival, and then
That's just like the cartoon.
Hold on, wait a second. That's not really a friend.
Fake
He's
friend.
technically your rival,
Wait.
but your friend.
Mark, are we talking about real life now? Did this happen to you in real life? You can tell us. It's okay.
But no, they're friends, but it's casual, friendly rival, not like I hate you kind of rival.
Oh, okay.
I got you. Yeah.
Because they're both starting out as Pokemon trainers and they're wanting to train to be the best, like no one
ever was.
Yeah,
Exactly.
And so we played for a couple hours, and at first I was like, okay, I'm easing into this. This is pretty much just like your standard Pokemon game. And then I got to a certain point, it was like an open field. And all of a sudden I started running into Pokemon that were like 10 to 15 levels higher than where I was.
That's dangerous.
Yeah, because like I was like a level 15 or whatever. And there's actually a mechanic where like certain Pokemon, like flying Pokemon, they'll be flying around, and to get their attention, you can whistle at them. And so I had one in particular that I whistled at, and he came to me, and I realized it's a level 26. And I'm like, no! And of course, the first time I tried to, because you have the option to run, first time it's like, you can't escape! And I'm like, no! And so it forced me, well, actually, I don't think I had to fight him. The second time I hit run, it finally let me go. But there was just like a whole bunch of Pokemon in that area that were like 10 to 12 levels above me, and plus also they were almost like these wells with this red light beaming out of them, and if you approached them and interacted with them, they had these particular Pokemon that have this mechanic called a Gigantomax, where basically it's kind of like this Rita Repulsa type effect, and make my monster grow kind of thing, where all of a sudden your Pokemon is like 12 feet tall and just absolutely huge.
Could you ride it? What does that do? Like, for it to be that big, does it make it extra strong?
Yeah, it basically makes it extra strong.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And more difficult to kill. Or, sorry, faint. Make faint.
Right. Yeah, no killing is involved in Pokemon. Just fainting. Stars above the head. Yep.
And basically, you get this, like, this power bar that eventually powers up to where you can turn your Pokemon. You have to like have this special band on your wrist that basically connects you with your Pokemon and allows them to grow larger and all this stuff. And it was like a multiplayer type thing where it randomly was matchmaking me with 3 other Pokemon in order to fight this Gigantamax Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
And just a lot of stuff there that like is newer to the series that I just didn't really care for. And maybe that's just the old curmudgeon in me wanting my old school Pokemon. But yeah, it's just a lot. I mean, overall, it was still just kind of fun to get back into that type of world. But at the same time, there's just a lot of new stuff that I didn't like.
Gotcha.
So I think I may actually, I have a 3DS, so I may download the OG Pokemon and just play that just for
there you go.
Nostalgia experience. But,
kick it old school.
Yeah. But then, of course, today I kind of wanted to point out as kind of an ending to my update. we announced March's GMG Game of the Month. GMG
Got him.
Which is, and I am excited to say this, it is The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Literally my favorite game.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
And the way you announced it was awesome.
For sure.
That was really legit, dude.
I figured if we were gonna do something like my favorite game, I was gonna try to do something special to announce it. Unfortunately, I don't think I can do this every time we do a GMG Got 'em announcement, but
That's not an option. You have to. Every time.
gosh.
Yes, I need to see more of these.
Just don't
my
play
wife-
Bloodborne as the Got 'em game.
Oh my gosh. And my wife and Cisco will be involved in some way, yeah.
Yeah.
But if you haven't seen that video, check it out on the GMG Twitter. I posted it there.
Twitter.com.
Yeah. But that was pretty much my week. Oh, yeah. We'll talk more about GMG Got 'em at the end of the show. But that's pretty much my week.
Fantastic idea.
Yeah.
Patrick,
Yeah.
what's up, brother from another mother?
A lot, really. So
Yeah, lay it on us.
this last week was my second week of working, so I kind of fell back into a comfort level of staying up a little bit later and just playing games, watching movies, and things like that. This past week, I was on Hulu and I was trying to find something to watch, and the first thing that popped up was Face Off with John Travolta and Nick Cage, and I was like, you know what? Sure, I'm gonna watch this. So my wife's in the chair, I'm in the bedroom, and we're watching it. She's like, "What is this movie?" And I'm trying to explain it to her. She's like, "Wait, they switch faces like surgically?" I'm like, "Yep. Just get past it. Don't worry about that part. Just enjoy the show."
Exactly.
90s action adventure with Nicolas Cage and John Travolta.
Exactly.
Just
Yeah. So, she's kind of on the chair, kind of watching, listening, and she's just laughing hysterically at the stupidness of this story of this movie. But I have a great time with that. It's a 90s flick with John Travolta and Nick Cage, and there's just a lot of action, a lot of unnecessary action. And so I had a good time with that. And after that ended, it was like, up next, Con Air. I was like, well, you got me.
You got me. Let's just keep going. Keep this train rolling.
welcome to Nick
And Mel's like,
Fest.
yeah. And then Mel says, I love Con Air. And I'm like, what?
You do?
Well, let's watch it together. So we watched. Actually, this was last Monday night, and I had to stop because last Tuesday when we were doing the recording, and I was like, I gotta go do the podcast, and so she watched the rest of it by herself. So yeah, she loves that movie.
You know what that movie, Patrick? Mindy and I watched that for the first time together in college, and that was the first time I heard Mindy sing was during Sweet Home Alabama when that song
There's
came
some
on.
the good soundtrack in that.
She sang it to me, and I was like, I didn't know you could sing. So
And then Steve Buscemi's like, define irony. A bunch of people singing a song to a band who died in a plane crash.
exactly, that movie's so good. I don't care what anybody says. Con Air is a national treasure. Another great
it is
Nicolas
good.
Cage movie, by the way, as we know.
And then so on the flip side of movies, so my son and I watched a movie on Disney Plus, and it was Fiona and Ulysses.
Oh yeah, with a squirrel on the front.
It's a squirrel superhero movie.
Oh,
It's a Disney movie, so they do like a lot of Marvel kind of references.
Really? I'm
there's
intrigued.
There's a part where there's the main character is like a 9-year-old girl, and she tells her dad, "I love you 3000." So it's just like those kinds of references to it. It was good. It was only like an hour and a half, and Clark absolutely loved it. It's cute, It's not like a award-winning kind of movie, but it was cute.
cool.
But it was it's fun just seeing the squirrel just all of a sudden have superpowers of flying, strength. It's just it's fun. It's a fun movie. If I were to rate it, I would probably give it 7.5 out of 10.
All right.
I think it's worth a
All right
watch
for a
with
kids
your
movie.
kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then on the gaming front, like I said, I played Diablo 3, which was really cool. I did try that Outriders demo.
Oh, yeah.
That recently just came out and has everybody talking about it. So I was like, you know what? I'll try it. And it is like a Division style game. It's a third person shooter.
Okay.
Same like cover mechanics and everything, except it's like, I guess it's mashed between like a Mass Effect kind of world where Earth is just decaying, so they went out into the space to find another Earth-like world, and there's like on this new world you end up getting like powers, and there's like 4 classes in there. You can be like a pyromaniac, you can be like a, I don't know what the other one was because I only did the pyromaniac one.
Yeah, there was like
so far.
Trickster and I forget the other two.
Yeah, but it was fun. I only played by myself for like the first mission. It's definitely a game that you have to play with multiple people. It's a multiplayer game for sure.
Yeah.
You can play it solo, but I think it's just way better. Like it's just like Division. You can play it, but it's so much better when you're playing with others. So I had a lot of fun with that. But I think I don't know if I'm going to get back to it really. Because I'm still playing wrestling. I'm still playing WWE 2K20.
Even after you got the platinum?
So, this past week, I got the platinum. And let me tell you,
that was spoilers, sorry.
Yeah, let me tell you the road to getting this platinum.
Tell us.
So, I talked about it last week, how getting the online trophies was awful. I had to delete my entire save and start fresh. But I backed it up, so it was fine. I can get back to it. The last 2 pretty much trophies that I needed to get were, I had to do this 16 match tower, kind of like a Mortal Kombat game tower where you fight different people, and each it's on legendary difficulty, so the hardest difficulty, and each match had a stipulation, and the stipulation was like you start with red health, so it goes from like blue to yellow to red, depending on how healthy you are or whatever. So you start with red health, or you start with no finishers and the opponent starts with 3 finishers. You have to beat 2 people like a triple threat match, and these triple threat matches are the worst because both the opponents go after you. And and the only way to win is to reverse and reverse and reverse, but you only have so many reversals. There was one stipulation where you had only 2 reversals, and once you use one, that like little bar goes away, so you have 1 left. If you use another reversal, then you have 0 reversals until some more later time in the match. So it was I wanted to throw my controller through my TV.
Really?
It was so frustrating.
Yikes.
Yeah, so but I did it. I went through all the matches, and there was several matches where I had to do them over and over and over again, but it was fine. But one of the weirdest things with it, because my save is so messed up, so I would have to fight like Triple H or Undertaker or John Cena. Every single time, it wouldn't be John Cena. It wouldn't be Triple H. It would be Drew McIntyre's body, his character model, every single match. So even though it was John Cena walking down to the ring, it was Drew McIntyre's body.
It's like a fever
doing
dream.
all like, it was so strange. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna play this. It's whatever. So I ended up doing that. The last trophy was I needed to play the showcase mode, and that's like the women's evolution and them like the women's whole division going from what it was back in like the 90s to what it is today. And it was really cool seeing that the progress of WWE and wrestling and bringing in the women's division and all that. But it was annoying because it's not just one woman that had revolutionized the women's division. There were a lot of them, and so there was a lot of triple threat matches or fatal 4-way matches, and I'm like, I hate these. And it's like, and that like one of the hardest one was a ladder match. And you have to get up to the championship belt. You have to do a mini game once you're up on top of the ladder.
Like paper, rock, scissors? Or
So there's like a circle that goes around, and there's like a little notch open on the circle, and you have like a ball that you can move around the circle, and once it gets in front of the notch, you can hit right trigger and it goes in. But you have to do that. You have to do that like 8 times.
Oh my gosh!
To actually grab it. So the only way that you can do this is if the rest of the wrestlers are down. Because if they're up, they're going to come up, they're going to pull you down, they're going to knock down the ladder, they're going to punch you, they're going to grapple you. And so it's just like, it was, I was used to like these 5-10 minute matches. These were like 35-minute matches, and it was taking forever.
Now couldn't you play this on easy? The girl
I was on easy.
Oh, okay.
I was on easy, but I since it's a showcase mode, I didn't know if they changed it to normal or whatever.
Yeah.
But it was still tough. But one of the cool things is I could skip the cutscenes.
Yeah.
I didn't. I did once, but the rest of them were like, okay, this is a really interesting story. I'm going to continue to watch it.
Whose bright idea was to make a mini game out of grabbing a belt?
Yeah.
I wish it was a little bit shorter, but I get it. It's the ladder matches are supposed to be like brutal matches. You're supposed to get down to red health.
Yeah. They should have made it like Surgeon Simulator or something, where you like all the buttons control a finger. And so you had to like hit all the buttons at once to grab it. That'd be funny.
Yeah. So speaking of wrestling, I watched this new. I have the WWE Network, and every once in a while they come out with a new show. And there's a documentary line of shows called 24, and they go through wrestlers' backstories. And the most recent one was Big E. I don't know if you guys know who Big E is, but he's relatively new. He's been in wrestling since maybe 2008. So most of the you guys watching, it's probably in the 90s, early 2000s when you guys watched wrestling. So he's a newer, and it was just showing him. He's one of my favorite wrestlers. I did a top 5 a few weeks ago, and he's in my top 5. And just seeing the way he carries himself personally and his character and his beliefs, and just made me like him even more. It was just like really cool. Like he played for Iowa football team, and he blew out his ACL one year, so he had to sit out that entire year. And then the next year he comes back, and he's all ready, and he blows out his other knee, and he tears his ACL. So he's done, and so he just shows his storyline of going through the WWE and going through his different gimmicks and different personalities in the WWE. It was really cool to see. So if you like wrestling, I think it's a really cool story. Even if you don't like wrestling, I think it's really, really neat just to see that the story, the struggle, and just seeing where he is now. Because for the longest time, he was a tag team wrestler with 2 other guys, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, and they both got injured. So it was like he was the only one that was not injured. So they pushed him into a single storyline to where he was just doing his thing. And right now he is the Intercontinental Champion. So it's really cool just to see what he's done and what Vince McMahon sees in him and just pushes him along.
Nice.
So that was really cool. After that, speaking of wrestling, I also watched this new The Rock show, which is called Young Rock. Have you guys heard about this?
I've heard about it. I have not seen it.
It is so The Rock, it's a story of The Rock, who is running for president in 2032. And he is being interviewed by, I don't know his real name, but he is the Agent Wu in WandaVision and the Marvel Universe. Randall Park. So he's interviewed by him, and as he's interviewing them, they're going back in time of The Rock young and growing up with his dad being a wrestler and things like that.
And his fanny
pack. So
pack.
there's 2 episodes so far, and it's not bad. It's actually not bad.
Huh. That's cool.
I'd vote for
it. So
yeah,
which is hilarious in WWE 2K20, the whole creative player storyline, The Rock is the president in the game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that's funny.
That's funny.
Speaking of wrestling, We are on a road to WrestleMania. And what better time to talk about wrestling than right now? That's right, folks. We are talking about WWE, WCW, ECW, WWF, NWA, all that jazz. We are going to be talking about wrestling, and I'm really, really excited about it.
Woo!
Yes, do the Ric Flair woo. We are getting in it.
That's where my knowledge stops, right there.
So a lot of people, when they get into wrestling, they have their own name. So... John Cena, his name's John Cena. Stone Cold Steve Austin, his name, he changed it to Steve Austin. It used to be like Steve Rogers or something like that. I don't know what it was.
Like Captain America?
But it's now. Yeah, I don't know. It probably wasn't that. It was like Steve Robinson.
Rogers.
I don't know. But so we're going to start a game. I'm going to give you their real names, and you got to let me know. You got to guess who the wrestler is.
All right.
So I'm going to start off with a few toss-ups.
Are you going to give us the era in which they wrestled, or are we just going right in the dark?
Okay, so yeah, let me preface this. This is going to be wrestlers that you know. So this is going to be in the Attitude Era between 97 and 2002.
How about earlier?
Because that's some of these wrestlers were in the era before that. So
that's good. I will take it.
They're gonna be all wrestlers that I have are gonna be wrestlers that you know.
All right.
Hopefully.
We'll see.
So we'll see. All right. So the first guy that I'm going to name, his real name, and you got to guess what his, I guess, buzz in, do whatever. But the first guy is William Goldberg.
Ring.
Yeah, Mark.
Bill Goldberg?
Oh, you got it.
That was a tough one. I almost didn't see that one coming.
You got it, Mark. Good job. All right. The next one is Dwayne Johnson.
Ding, ding, ding. Dwayne The Rock
Lucas
Johnson.
Good job. It is The Rock. All right. Now we're going to get into some a little bit harder ones.
Here we go.
Oh, I like the softballs.
Just think about the names that I'm giving you, and you might be able to get
I still can't believe we're doing a wrestling show.
Andre Rusimov.
Bing, 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 bing.
Mark.
Sorry, I forgot what my thing was. Andre the Giant?
You got it.
Nice.
All right. Terry Bollea.
Bing, 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 bing.
Oh.
Hulk Hogan.
Mark is a closet wrestler.
What
Honestly, I was like,
happening?
which person was Terry? And it was Hulk Hogan. It's a good one.
All right. Next one. Paul White.
Bing, 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 bing.
Mark again.
I think it's the Big Show.
It is the
Mark
Big
has
Show.
been watching wrestling his entire
Mark
life
is happening?
nonstop.
Dude, did not see this coming.
And we'll talk
It's like
more
the
about it.
Schwab
But like
of
that
wrestling.
was, he's naming all mainly like for the most part Attitude Era. For the most part.
Okay, so now it's going to get a little bit harder.
Yeah, I think you're gonna lose me here.
Yeah, you already lost me.
Michael. The next one is Michael Hickenbottom. He changed his name because
For good reason.
He
Yes.
changed it.
Yeah, you've lost me.
Any guesses?
Chris Jericho.
No. Good guess though.
Is it one of the Hart brothers? Michael Hart?
You were close. He is the Heartbreak Kid.
Shawn Michaels.
Shawn Michaels?
Oh, Ronnie got it.
Oh my
Shawn
gosh.
Michaels. Yes.
HBK.
Michael Hickenbottom. Next one. James Hellwig.
I mean, Hellwig, that would have been a good wrestler name. The Hellwig.
Isn't that the owl from Harry Potter? Oh no, wait, that's Hedwig.
That was close, though. Hellwig, Hedwig.
I'll see here. Attitude Era, right?
This was probably a little earlier. I would say about maybe the 1990.
Okay, say it again.
The
James Hellwig.
Jake
Undertaker.
the Snake Roberts.
No and no.
The Ultimate Warrior.
You got it.
Daggone
It
it.
is the Ultimate Warrior.
I just pulled that out
Mark.
of my head. Like,
Man.
All right. Mark has 5. Lucas and Ronnie have uno.
Oh, I was going to say 0. I'll give Ronnie my point.
Next one is Paul Levesque.
Oh, shoot.
Mark knows it.
I've heard the name. I don't remember what it was.
He's the game. He is the
Triple
game.
H.
Triple H? Really?
Yes. Paul Levesque. All right. Glenn Jacobs. We got 3 more. Glenn Jacobs.
Yeah, I don't know this one.
Attitude Era on this one?
Yes. Attitude Era on this one. This guy was about 7 feet tall.
The Undertaker?
No. Close.
Kane?
Yes. Kane. Glenn Jacobs. What if he wore that mask? His name was Glenn.
Yeah,
It's like,
that's... I know.
Hey,
He
Glenn,
needed
you're
the
up
name
next.
All right, okay. So, Mark, you have 5. Ronnie, you have 3. I have 2 left. Ronnie, you need to get these.
Is that counting the point I gave him?
Otherwise, what's that?
I gave him my point.
You gave him your point?
We pulled
Yeah.
our points together for...
Yeah, we got to pull
better
if we're
chance of
gonna
victory.
if we're gonna face Mark.
Yeah, right.
This is
Lucas
tag
and Ronnie
team.
versus
We're
Mark.
going to
All
take
right.
down the Schwab.
All right. Randall Poffo. Randall Poffo.
Jake the Snake Roberts.
Not even close.
Can we
$1
get
Million
the
Dollar Man.
era?
Yes, it is the. He was in the WWF and WCW.
Randy Macho Man Savage.
Sure is.
Yes!
Randy Savage.
Nice.
All right. Last one.
Come back, kid.
Mark Calloway. Ronnie, you said it like 9 times already.
The Undertaker?
Yes.
Undertaker, finally.
Finally, the Undertaker.
At one
There
point,
it
I was going to
is.
start just guessing the Undertaker. Because
Yeah,
he's
I
gotta
did-
have it in
okay.
there.
I wanted to
All
do
right.
that too.
It's a good thing. So it's 5-5. All right. This is the final round. And it's The Rock. Dwayne Johnson. When he debuted in 1996, what was his in-ring name? And I'm going to give you multiple choice on this one.
I know what it is.
Oh. All right, Mark, go ahead.
Wasn't it Rocky Maivia?
In 1996, when he debuted in the U.S.
His nickname?
Yes. So before he got into the WWF, he wrestled in some sort of program with Jerry the King Lawler, his federation. His name. So the 4 names: Rocky Maivia, Rocky Johnson, Flex Cavana, or The Rock.
There's literally no way it was Flex Cavana.
It could
I
have
was
been.
going to guess that Flex Cavana was
Rocky
that's my
Maivia, wasn't
guess.
it?
Mark chose Rocky Maivia.
I'll choose The Rock.
And The Rock. No, I am sorry. You are both wrong. Lucas wins. His name was Flex Cavana.
Unbelievable.
In 1996.
Unbelievable.
I tried to lose
So-
and I still won.
I was like, what does Cavana mean? So it is a loose translation. It can either mean boy or water. So basically he was Flex
Water
Boy.
boy. Water boy.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Yeah. He's definitely changed a ton.
That's
At
a
one
deep
point, he
cut.
was
when
Rocky
he first
Maivia.
started.
He looks like he's doubled.
He
in
was.
size,
So
at least.
so he was Flex Cavana in that oh man, I can't remember what it was, but it was the Jerry the King Lawler US wrestling, whatever it was.
Yeah.
But when that was in 96, and when he debuted in the WWF, he was Rocky Maivia.
Okay.
So you got it. And Rocky Johnson was his dad when he wrestled. So he is a 2nd or 3rd generation. I think he's a 3rd generation wrestler. So yeah, keep it within the Attitude Era. I wanted to talk about this because this past year, like wrestling has been a resurgence for me. Like it is just so interesting to see some of these wrestlers that I used to watch. There's like, and some of them are still wrestling or still on WWE right now. Like Ric Flair, he is old. He's just like a dad right now.
Yeah.
Because his daughter wrestles, Charlotte Flair, and she's like, she does the same thing. She does the woo. She does the she does the chops and everything.
That's
And then
hilarious.
Back, I don't know if you remember Edge back in like 98, 2000 when he won like 14 tag team titles.
Yeah.
He just won the Royal Rumble, and he's going to face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania at the age of 47. Dude is 47, and he looks in the best shape in his life.
Yeah. Dude, I remember when he was part of a group. It was a tag team. I think it was called The Brood.
The Brood with Gangrel and Christian.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was early for him.
Yeah.
Gangrel was like the
broke...
vampire guy, right? With the
Yeah, you'd spit out blood and crap.
Yeah. So I think I started watching wrestling when I was 13. I started watching it when basically like the week after Bill Goldberg debuted in WCW. People are like, you got to see this guy. So then I just got hooked on WCW. I watched that for about a year, and then DX came. And
DX got me.
They invaded like WCW. Apparently they had 2 shows. WCW and WWF had shows like 19 miles apart, and DX had like invaded and went out with they had a tank or whatever, and they were over at the WCW venue. And that's when I was like, well, who's DX? So then I switched over to WWF at the time, and I did not look back. Because that had like The Rock, Undertaker, Kane,
Steve
DX,
Austin came along.
Stone Cold. It was like every type of character that you is synonymous with wrestling was from this era. And I went to I went to a few house shows. I went to WCW Nitro. It was a lot. Did you guys go to any shows?
Nope.
I did.
Negative.
I went to I think it was like a Thursday night SmackDown or something like that. When I was younger, yeah.
Well, yeah, we're like there's like a down at the banks. There's a U.S. Bank Arena. That's where they did all the wrestling.
Yep.
And it was a good time. So we have a lot of stuff on Discord and Twitter and Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw you
What?
posted
We
on
have
Instagram.
Yes. So
All right, lay it
why
on
don't we
us.
go? Why don't we go over to Instagram? Let's see. Cass Junkie says, "Stone Cold shaped my attitude." Oh my gosh, I can't read this. Okay. Stone Cold shaped my attitude for many years, and honestly, to this day, the way he didn't give 2 craps about what he was told and did what he wanted was amazing. Secondly, Undertaker was always an idol of mine as well, rising from the ashes each show to instill the ever-loving hell to his opponent. And he met Mankind too.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Sucko!
Have you guys seen that clip of Undertaker throwing Mankind off the Hell in the Cell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wanted to do that.
Oh,
I watched a documentary on
Mick
that.
Foley was
and
my favorite wrestler of all time. He just go in there and just take an absolute beating every single time.
Isn't he
And
still
he would
messed
do
up
it.
from that?
He was messed up then, I'm pretty sure.
Nah, I think he's a normal guy.
Well, no, I mean,
I
think he injured himself during that match. And he
Oh,
still
his injuries
feels
are
it.
he had monumental injuries from matches. His career injury list is outrageous.
Yeah. He got thrown off the Hell in a Cell match. He got thrown through the top of the Hell in a Cell on tacks.
Yep.
That's insane.
This guy was insane. He was the hardcore champion, and he should be.
He should be.
He had 2 other personas too, didn't he?
Cactus Jack and Dude Love.
Yeah.
Dude, love.
Yeah.
Let's see. Going over to Facebook. Mike Doherty says, one of my brothers and I's favorite movies of all time, Major Payne, had a cameo by a wrestler. And as a kid, we thought it was so awesome. Name the wrestler. Do you guys know what wrestler was in Major Payne?
It's been so long since I've seen Major Payne. I have no idea.
I do not know who that wrestler
my
is.
authority.
Was it Sergeant Slaughter? I mean, who else would it be?
I have no idea
Yeah.
actually who it was.
I don't remember. I haven't watched.
I'm
Major Payne in a
gonna
while.
say Sergeant Slaughter because he was in the military. I guess. Yeah, sure. That guy.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember Sergeant Slaughter?
What
That might
year
have
was
been
that?
before.
What year was
Yeah.
that movie?
I vaguely
Probably
remember Sergeant Slaughter.
94.
I definitely
something
remember
like that.
Sergeant Slaughter, actually. But I don't remember if he was in Major Payne.
He says, are there any favorite wrestling cameos outside of wrestling, excluding Rock and John Cena? I think for me, what is going on the opposite route, David Arquette and Ready to Rumble.
Yeah, David Arquette. There was a lot of big names in that, like Diamond Dallas Page was in that.
He was a big part.
role, yeah.
Yep, yeah, and that was also when David Arquette won the the WCW Heavyweight Championship.
David Arquette,
which is like a black mark in wrestling when a celebrity wins the title over all these other people who have worked their butts off for their entire lives.
Yeah.
And this guy just comes in and wins.
Lucas, you got to see that one. You have to see that
Bam
movie.
Bigelow.
Bam Bam Bigelow. How about that?
Was in Major Pain.
Oh my gosh, really?
Bam Bam Bigelow.
I remember that.
Totally forgot about him, but I do vaguely remember that. Huh.
Wow.
All right. Yeah, the cameo I liked was Snap into a Slim Jim with Randy Savage. Was that Randy Savage? yeah.
Do you remember
Slim Jim?
in Major Pain, wasn't
ready.
Bam Bam Bigelow was like a biker or something that he beat up, like out on the
Yeah.
like a little grassy field or whatever.
Yep.
No, mine was Diamond Dallas Page from Ready to Rumble.
There you go. South High Five.
I think Bill Goldberg was in like Universal Soldier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stone
Sasha
Cold was in
Banks
that.
was in Mandalorian.
Yeah, it's true.
There you go.
True. Stone Cold Steve Austin was in. Man, what was that movie? The Condemned or something, where they go to that island, they have to fight to the death.
It was like Hunger Games,
Yeah.
but rated
That
R.
movie was awesome.
Yes.
Not for children.
Thus, the R rating. Pretty clear.
The R rating sometimes doesn't do it justice.
That's true.
My favorite
true.
wrestler cameo. It's not really a cameo. Dave Bautista. Drax.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
That's a good one. That's a really, really good
That's
one.
an extended cameo.
Yeah.
How did you know he was so still? How did you know he
Yeah.
was in the movie?
How long have you been
So
standing
slowly.
there? An hour.
Ew.
An hour.
Travis Pospisil says, if you like heavy metal, check out Fozzy. The lead singer is Chris Jericho.
I knew that.
Yeah, so
Chris
like
Jericho does
I remember. Yeah, Chris Jericho is like the Godfather.
He does everything.
I think he still wrestles in like the AEW, which I don't watch.
Yeah.
I don't get that. It's like on TNT. I don't get it on Hulu or anything. But yeah, apparently he still wrestles. He's like also, well, he's not in the best shape of his life like Edge is.
Yeah. True. Very true.
Moving over to Twitter, Burnaby Butters says, I grew up with Lucha Libre.
See, that's the
favorites
legit
are-
stuff.
Yeah, those
is.
guys are always fun to watch because they are high flyers.
Yep.
He says favorites are Pero Aguayo. I'm gonna be butchering these names.
Something dog. Some kind of dog. Pero. Aguayo. I don't remember what aguayo means, but some kind of dog. Maybe it's a rabid or rabid dog.
Wild
A
dog.
rabid dog.
A rabid.
think so?
It's like foaming at the mouth, gonna give you rabies.
It was Road Dogg and X-Pac. That was the DX tag team.
Yeah,
trying to
Road
remember.
Dogg, Jesse James.
Yeah.
The New Age Outlaws. So he says Hurricane Ramirez, probably Hurricane Ramirez, La Parca. I remember him from WCW days. Los Payasos.
Payasos.
Hijo-
That's clowns.
The clowns?
Los payasos. Yeah.
Hijo del Santo.
Yeah. Saint or Holy Son. Hijo.
Tiniblas.
This is fun. It's like Spanish
Junior?
class with Patrick.
Tiniblas Jr.
What is it?
I don't know.
Okay.
These I'm guessing these are like more of the Mexican circuit.
Yeah.
And maybe other circuits rather than the major shows that I'm accustomed to.
Now, it's funny you should mention this because I, of course, as is tradition, at the dinner table, of recording tonight, I sat with my family and I said, "Okay, family, what do you got? Wrestling." And one of the first things that Mindy said was luchadors in Mexico, because she lived in Mexico for 4 years. She knew she had friends that liked luchadors. She liked, and of course, she like went totally like Mexican American and was like, and then who can forget Nacho from Nacho Libre? I did not see that coming. These are the Lord's cheaps.
What Bernabe didn't mention was Rey Mysterio, which is like the bread and butter of Lucha Libre, and he's still wrestling to this day. Like
he was one of my favorites.
His tag team partner is his son. And he's up there still just hanging with the best of the best still.
Yeah.
And it's so much fun to watch him. And then Comics and the Cross went crazy on Twitter, and he says favorite wrestlers have to include Eddie Guerrero, Kurt Angle, Nigel McGuinness, Daniel Bryan, and Bryan Danielson. Wait, what?
Nigel McGuinness. I don't know if he ever made it like to the main show or not, but I remember I went when I was younger. You ever heard of the HWA? It was like
no,
like a minor league circuit to wrestling. They literally would have shows at like I went to see one like at a flea market. Like that's how awesome this was.
Wow, at a
McGuinness
flea
was, like,
market.
One of the bigger stars like in there. So I've actually seen him.
oh no way, nice. He says highlights that automatically spring to mind are Eddie Guerrero winning the title at No Way Out 2004, and him and Benoit celebrating at WrestleMania 20. Do you guys watch WrestleMania? When was the last time you watched a WrestleMania?
You remember?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Before I go, you go ahead.
I was gonna say my parents would never wanted to let me watch the pay-per-view events. They didn't want to buy them. They didn't want to spend the money at the time.
Back when you had to like really like get $20 from your parents or however much it was.
Right. Yeah, so I never watched WrestleMania.
Oh yeah, my friends and I would all get together, and like 6 of us, and it was like I think it was like $60 to get a pay per view. So we'd all chip in $10 when we go to watch, and that was not every single time. It was just like if there was a big fight or a big cool event, we'll get them, but we didn't get it every single time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. I was gonna say I remember my cousin. He would always pay for the WrestleMania pay-per-views, and he would tell me about it. I wouldn't even watch it most of the time. But the last time I like kind of watched, like to the side, any kind of WWE, WWF, whatever it was actually when we had a Chinese exchange student who lived at our house back in 1998, 97. And that boy would stay up until like 1 a.m. watching wrestling. And eventually he would wake me up screaming, just like, go, hit him. And I would like, I'd have to throw a pillow at him and be like, wait, go to sleep, man. We got school tomorrow. You're keeping me awake. That was it. That was like the last time. I think the last time I really watched it was when Hulk Hogan went to the WCW or NWO or one of those.
Yeah, it was in the NWO.
Side places.
Yeah, he was in NWO in WCW, and then when they did the WCW invasion after Vince McMahon bought the WCW, he came over with the NWO.
Oh, okay.
Which didn't really last very long because
Okay.
people were like, get out of here.
Yeah.
Go back to Hulkamania.
And then before that, the cream of the crop, the golden years of wrestling for me was Jake the Snake Roberts, $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, Ultimate Warrior, and of course the Undertaker. You guys still talking about the Undertaker? I'm like, how is that man still alive?
I was gonna say, he just retired.
Like, did he start wrestling when he was a fetus? Like, how?
He was 7 foot.
I think he started wrestling when he was.
Yeah, he was. His poor mother
Came out of the womb with his eyes rolled back.
Oh gosh, that eye roll back look, always scary, always nightmare inducing.
Yeah.
There's like certain matches that are required viewing for if you wanted just to watch a match. You know, there's a match. It's WrestleMania 18, and it's The Rock versus Hulk Hogan. They call it the Icon versus Icon match, and it is just. It's not the best match, but it's one of the coolest matches because you get guys that are, The Rock wasn't really wrestling anymore at that point, and neither was Hulk Hogan. It was just like a dream match, and it was really, really cool. There's like for the first 5 minutes, they're not even doing anything to each other. They're just like staring at each other, and it's just like the hype is real with that match. And then so that one's good. And then they're back in like the Attitude Era. There was one with Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy versus Edge and Christian versus the Dudley Boys.
Oh my gosh.
And it was a tables, ladders, and chairs match, and it is amazing. There was like a 20-foot ladder that Jeff Hardy jumps off of onto a guy who's on a table. Like it is insane. Yeah. Let's see. Comics and Cross goes on to say the match that sold me on TNA, which is Total Nonstop Action for those who don't know.
Yep.
When I first watched in 2005, AJ Styles versus Chris Daniels, 30-minute Iron Man match. Survivor Series 2002 was my favorite pay-per-view ever. ECW original One Night Stand before WWE tried to cash in. Kevin Steen, another wrestler. And then he goes on to say, and his big run with Steve Corona and Jimmy Jacob as Scum and Evil fighting Ring of Honor management. And then Kurt Angle and his Ring of Honor World title run. Like it's like he talks about Kurt Angle, and like there are actual wrestlers who wrestle. Like Kurt Angle's like an Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah.
There's a current guy, his name's Chad Gable. He is a former wrestler for the Olympics. It's and there's like football players, retired football players, and people who are just jacked.
Shamrock?
And Ken Shamrock was an MMA fighter. Yeah, just like Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar was like a state champion, and I think he was. I don't know if he was in the Olympics or not, but he was a college state champion. He was. But then he's so big that they're like, bring him to wrestling.
And then
So-
he actually did start fighting in the cage also.
Yeah, and then he wins a title there.
So, like, my experience with wrestling, like, obviously, as a lot of us have talked about, is like the Attitude Era. Obviously, was between it was basically my middle school years. For me, it was 98 to 2002. Like, I remember I was big in with my buddies in like 5th and 6th grade. With it was WWF at the time, and WCW. We even went to like local matches here, or not here, but in New Hampshire, which you can imagine how great those were. Just in town matches. Like I think the big guy that would always come to town, and you can still find his pictures on Google or whatever. It was a wrestler. His name was Lobster Man. And this dude literally, he had like
these gimmicks,
had
man.
like a one-piece wrestling outfit, and literally he'd come into the ring with like lobster claws for gloves.
Menacing.
And his intro theme was Rock Lobster from the B-52s. He'd come in like like yeah.
That
I
music
remember I
would get
used to-
hyped for real.
Yeah, but I remember I used to go with my buddies. At one point, I went because my grandparents, like my grandmother and grandfather, like 2 years after I was born, they were big into WWF wrestling when like Hulk Hogan was in his heyday, and like in the 80s and 90s, they would like order a pizza and watch wrestling. And so later on, when I started getting into wrestling, my grandmother would go with me to these wrestling matches.
Nice.
So it was like me, my 3 or 4 buddies, and my grandmother watching wrestling.
Well, that makes me
Watching
feel really
Lobster Man.
old that I would be able to have a conversation about wrestling with your grandmother more than I can have with you
I just
guys.
sent you guys a picture of the Lobster Man. Not what I expected. Not what I expected at all.
But
How does he wrestle with those
He
claws?
takes them off.
oh, he takes.
Or is that just his,
he takes
his
them off.
interest? He's got a cape. It's
You
great.
know who he kind of looks like in this picture, and I feel bad for saying this. Kind of looks like Spencer Stapleton.
Oh my gosh, he
He
does.
does look like Spencer Stapleton. Please get
You
Spence
slap a
connected
thick
with
beard
this.
on that guy, and that's Spencer Stapleton.
That's 100% Spencer Stapleton.
But yeah,
He
anyways,
was a wrestler in his other life.
Yep, Lobster Man.
So yeah, I was very much in the Attitude Era with Stone Cold and Kane and The Rock and all those guys. Honestly, I started more out as a WCW guy because my favorite wrestler is Sting.
Like the OG
Not
California
not the OG
Sting, or the
not like the really colorful painting with the
Crow
blonde.
Sting.
Yeah, I like Crow's Sting, both his white and his red versions, like when he was with the NWO, the Wolfpack.
Came in with a baseball bat and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think I could take Sting with the flat top blonde haircut and the colorful colorful face paint. That was weird, but yeah, he was my favorite. Who is y'all's favorite? Ronnie, I have a strong inclination that I know who yours is.
Actually, so I do love The Rock, of course, but Mick Foley was my favorite.
Yeah.
He was straight up my favorite wrestler.
All right.
I think when I was growing up, Goldberg was my favorite wrestler. It was just like he would just he would sit in the sparks.
So jacked, though, too, man. Like, just so pumped.
Yeah.
But he never really wrestled though. He would just get in there, do the spear and jackhammer, and he would just like scream, and it would just be scary. And I just loved that brute force that he
The
had.
intensity with him, man. Like, everything was intense.
Yeah. What about you, Lucas?
I have to say that for the most part, I did not have a wrestler that I really got behind. I remember watching like the Royal Rumbles and stuff, and just my loyalty or whoever I cheered for, it changed a lot. I just watched it as a whole, and when I was a kid, but I did really like Jake the Snake Roberts because he had a pet snake, and who doesn't like that? Unless you're scared of snakes, I guess. Then
Snakes.
probably not.
Why does it gotta be
It's always
snakes?
got to be snakes. And then I think you brought up the Heartbreak Kid. I vaguely remember liking him, and then also was there Hart brothers like
Owen Hart,
Owen and
Bret Hart.
Bret Hart? Yeah, I liked them as a tag team. Didn't one of them die?
Yeah. Owen.
Yeah, Owen Hart did. Yeah.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that. But I really liked them when they were in their heyday as a tag team. Until I think one of them turned on the other, if I'm remembering right.
There's this thing they call the Montreal Screw Job, and basically they went and pretty much stripped Bret Hart of everything.
Yeah.
And then Bret left the WWF and went to the WCW.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that too, vaguely. But yeah, I liked them too. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So moving on to Discord, Rogue Hoffa. He says, love the topic. My favorites of all time are The Rock, Triple H, and Shawn Michaels. One of my best friends and I used to watch every single week. He still watches every single week.
Mm-hmm.
We loved the DX storylines and Evolution era. I remember very well we're discussing it if it was real or not. It is real.
Sure it is.
It is predetermined, but it is real.
It's real fake.
Pete. Oh, don't even. You don't say that F word. I'm going to have to bleep that out. He says, I still love WWE and watch every single week Raw and SmackDown. Spacehawk91 Caleb says, I loved watching WCW and the NWO at my grandparents. I always loved Sting and Hulk Hogan. There you go, Mark.
There you go.
Isaac Allistic says, who's your favorite NCAA champ and why? Oh, wait. We're not talking about real wrestling. Again, it is real. It's just predetermined.
Taking shots, man. Taking shots. Might be the first time they've ever
And I already said it. He says, who's your favorite NCAA champ? We already talked about Chad Gable, Brock Lesnar, all the wrestlers.
All the wrestlers.
Take that.
Take that. You done messed up. Aaron says pretty much everything from 97 to 2005. Looking back on it, particularly as an elementary school age kid in the 90s, I'm pretty sure if my mom had bothered sitting down to watch an episode of SmackDown with me, that would have been the last time I was ever allowed to watch SmackDown.
Yep.
I still watch it now. I think I figured out by my teenage years that it wasn't real, in quotations. But as an adult, that awareness actually got me more into it because it got me into researching how certain things worked and why and how a wrestler would do in an A and B situation. It's like an athletic performance art theater play, which is in some ways more difficult than putting on an actual fight.
It's soap operas for men, is what it is.
It is. You know, there is this 25-minute video on YouTube called Wrestling Isn't Wrestling, and it's by Max Landis. He's done he's a comic book writer and things like that, and it is the story of Triple H and how he started and where he ended up, and it is hilarious. It is not something you can watch with your kids because there are profanities in there, like a lot. But it's just basically wrestling is about the storylines, and it's really and them fighting each other is just the action. Because I watch wrestling on a weekly basis now. I've been doing it for the past 8-9 months, and just seeing the storylines. There's maybe 5 matches a night in a 3-hour show because all they're doing is they're leading up to the pay-per-view, doing their storylines, hyping it up. So yeah, definitely get that. Haas says, I was in high school during the Attitude Era. My favorite memories were pulling money together with friends and gathering at one house for a pay-per-view event.
Nice.
Did the same. So I think it was 2002 when I graduated high school is when I stopped watching wrestling. I think other things started to happen. You know, I was in the early on relationship with my wife, started college, other things started to happen. I fell off of it. Why did you guys stop watching wrestling?
Just started getting into other things, started losing interest in it. I was very much starting to take more of an interest in music and things like that. And so that kind of jumped in the front seat, and wrestling jumped in the way back, and I don't know, it just kind of fell off at that point.
Yeah, I don't know when I stopped watching. There may be a correlation with following it actual sports like football, baseball, or whatever, where they just kind of took the entertainment place that wrestling held for a while. But yeah, eventually it was just not interesting anymore.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. I was, football, baseball, basketball, all into that. But the reason why I started watching wrestling again is because there was no other sports during the pandemic.
That's true.
Baseball was just canceled every other day, and there was no basketball. Football wasn't even on. So I was I need some sort of sport, some sort of action in my life. And that's when I started picking up wrestling again. And I love it.
Yeah, I think for me, at the core of it all, I'm a lover, not a fighter. And so I just don't know. I don't get my kicks out of watching people beat each other up, yell at each other, act like idiots. I mean, I can act like an idiot just like anybody else, but the typical, guy stuff like wrestling, fighting, cars, those kind of things. I mean, I do like sports when it's a true competition and not decided ahead of time competition.
I like the way you use that.
Yeah, you like that? It's so I just felt an interest with it. I'm sure if I had more friends that were into it, it would have fed it enough to keep with it. But it just none of my friends were really talking about it, focusing on it. So I think that had a lot to do with it.
Yeah, and I think with back then there wasn't like a lot of social media at the
No,
time.
not at all.
Like now it's like I say something on Twitter or Facebook about wrestling and people are like, "Oh, you like wrestling?"
Yeah.
And I've found, and through this podcast, other people that love wrestling just as much as I do. Now, there was a 15, 18-year gap between me watching wrestling, but I'm learning.
I think you caught up in like 3 months, right? Like all the 18 years that you missed, you watched all of it?
Absolutely not. I watched the Royal Rumble in January of 2019, and I watched the pay-per-views up through WrestleMania of 2020, and that's when I started watching the weekly shows again. I totally missed so many years. Like John Cena, his entire run in wrestling, I missed that entire thing. Like that's, if I wanted to go back, I could. I've watched, matches here and there. Like I look at like top 10 wrestling matches, and I'll watch those and things like that. But as far as the storyline goes, like I missed all of it. And so I don't know how much longer I'll be watching wrestling, but I am enjoying every minute of it right now.
Nice.
But yeah, that's about all I have on the wrestling topic.
Nice, dude. It's a good topic.
Well, I do need to, as we near the wrapping things up, I do need to give a shout out to my kids. They made a great effort to contribute to this wrestling conversation.
Really?
Yeah. So I asked my kids, all right, wrestling, what do you know? And my son is like, punching. I'm like, okay, what else? And then he's like, dodging. I'm like, all right. And then all of a sudden his eyes got real big. He's like, wait, Mandalorian, the wrestlers at the beginning of the second season, when they're in the ring, those little green pig guys fighting each other.
One of them dies.
Yeah, and one of them dies in the match. That's true. Just like the real thing. So yeah.
No, not like the real
Not
thing.
at all.
That's not how that works
shot
at
him
all.
with a gun.
Yeah, my son brought that up, and then my daughter was like, "Hey, Dad, the Big Show. I love that. That's like her favorite Netflix cheesy family show." And then she, of course, brought up this string of like events where she is a Rock super fan like Ronnie. She said that she loved him in Escape to Witch Mountain, and then of course he's the voice of Maui that she brought up in Moana. And then she even said after that she read a book about The Rock. So she's definitely a Rock fan.
She watched any of the Fast and Furious movies?
Not yet. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Early for that.
Yeah. Speaking of which, the Fast and Furious 9, John Cena is the villain.
Oh, that's right. He's Vin Diesel's brother.
No. He's Vin Diesel's brother.
Gosh.
I like how they just pulled him in after 20 years of Fast and
Why
Furious.
not? That's another thing. It's pre-planned, but it's real. It's a real family.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, and my wife also brought up Jesse the Body Ventura, who became a governor later on in life.
And now is like super conspiracy theorist.
Oh, he is, isn't he?
Yeah.
No way.
He's like sticking beer bottles on his doorknob and like just being super nervous and scared about everything.
Yeah.
Wait, what is putting a beer bottle on your doorknob do?
You've never seen what's that movie with Mel Gibson where he's a conspiracy guy and he puts like
Science?
No, it's another
Not
one.
Science?
He's like a government conspiracy guy, and he like in his house he puts beer bottles on his doorknob so that when someone comes to the door and they move it, the beer bottle falls down, and it's like his security.
Oh, no way!
It's like his free security.
I think that movie is actually called Conspiracy Theory.
Actually, I think you're right. It is Conspiracy Theory. Good call. Yeah, funnily enough, that's what it's called. So yeah.
Yeah, like he had a TV show.
He
where
did.
He was doing like different conspiracy theories.
Oh gosh. That's crazy. All right. Well, as we wrap up this wacky and wadical wrestling wound-up, as is tradition, some last-minute housekeeping.
Was that Elmer Fudd in there?
That's white. You wascally wabbit. We, of course, as always, are offering pillows. Dang it. Offering towels, fluffing pillows, giving you some Andy's candies, and tipping you off to the GMG news you need to know. Don't forget, not only on Saturdays, but every Friday now, for at least the month of March.
Yes, that is correct. Because Zelda is like a 24 to 27 hour campaign.
Yep.
So
Marcus will be playing Ocarina of Time on Twitch with GMG Got 'em. I, of course, will continue to try my best to stream on random days at high noon, usually around lunchtime, whenever my life schedule allows, on the GMG YouTube channel. Please subscribe if you have not already. And then, of course, rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, and Stitcher, of course, if you've not already. And then also connect with us on Discord, Twitch, Twitter, or email. All the links and info are in the show notes. You can check that out. We would love to interact with you. Our joiners, of course, are a beautiful group of people that we love to interact with every day and hang out with. And we think you'll feel the same if you choose to do so. Besides that, you can give us a call. Feel free to do that anytime at 929-GMG-GUYS. And then, of course, as this week, as we do every week currently, Marc is going to wow us with some GMG MAF T100 trivia Marc facts as we get ready to share our favorite movies of all time.
And now we proudly present to you, our faithful joiners, This Week in Movie History, a GMG production.
The two major events of note literally happened on the same day, but not the same year. So March 2nd, which as of recording is tomorrow, March 2nd, but in 1933, King Kong made its premiere at Radio City Music Hall in New York City. I think, doesn't Godzilla vs. Kong come out this month? Is it this month or next?
Is it this month,
soon.
this year?
Yeah,
For sure this
definitely
year.
this year. But yeah, King Kong, 1933, made its premiere at Radio City Music Hall.
Cool.
Dang, 1933.
Yep.
Oof.
And March 2nd, 1965, The Sound of Music.
The Hills
was
Are
released.
Alive. With the sound of
The
music.
Sound of Music, yeah.
Ah.
That-
A deer, a female deer, Ray, a drop of golden sun.
And then it also has that fake Christmas song that people like to sing. These are
my
a
favorite
few
things.
of my favorite things.
Yeah, that always gets wrapped in with Christmas stuff.
Yep.
Ha.
Uh-huh.
And so, birthdays of note from actors and actresses. Catherine O'Hara, who is the mom in the Home Alone movies.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Eva Mendes.
Mm-hmm.
Fast and Furious and other movies.
And Hitch.
And Hitch,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Hitch.
Uh,
What a classic.
Yeah.
Love that movie.
Jake Lloyd's birthday is this week. Now this is pod racing.
Oh,
Poor
no.
Jake Lloyd. Poor guy.
How old is he now?
He's got to be in his late 20s.
Is he still in jail?
I don't know. He might be.
He was in jail?
Poor guy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. After Phantom Menace, his life took a tumble.
He was like 4 in Phantom Menace.
That's right. He got busted. Grand Theft Auto.
And also, Patrick, your favorite person. Now, when I initially say his name, you won't recognize it. But when I tell you where he's from, Eddie Deason, who plays Eugene Felsnick in the Grease movies, the nerd dude. He plays the voice of Mandark. And he's also the know-it-all kid from Polar Express.
Oh my gosh, get out of here. If I'm going to delete anything on this episode, it's that.
Better
He's
give him
the
a
worst.
present.
Worse than Gun Leg Lady.
Hey, what do you think you're doing?
Oh, man.
But that's it for me.
Sweet. All right, guys. As we are doing, we're building that top 100 movies list with the GMG MAF T100. So, I'm going to go ahead and just say it right now. I am adding The Patriot, that old Mel Gibson classic. I was talking about him earlier with Conspiracy Theory. I'm going with The Patriot. Aim small, miss small.
There you go.
Nice.
That movie, especially there's this one scene where this cannonball is rolling across the ground.
Oh my gosh.
And hits this
knocks
one
the
dude,
guy's head
and
off.
the dude explodes.
Yep. Oh yeah,
Brutal movie.
it is brutal. Ronnie, what you got?
So I questioned whether adding this, but I feel like it was one of my favorite movies when I was a kid, and it is Troy.
All right. Yeah.
Interesting.
Patrick?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Mel Gibson as well, and I'm gonna say Braveheart.
Ooh, yeah.
There you go. It's a good solid pick.
Mm-hmm. Mark, how about you, buddy?
So I was thinking about music movies that have a musical theme. It's not entirely a musical, but I was thinking about it, and there's a movie called Across the Universe, which was a story that was woven around Beatles songs.
Okay.
I absolutely love that movie. So
Cool. Alrighty then. Pat, Mark, and Ronnie J, along with you, our beloved friends, family, and joiners. Go get your good morning this week, and may God bless and guide your lives as you live, as you work, and as you game.
1, 2, 3, 4.